Good afternoon. Today is the 24th of January and I think it's time we talked about something that affects a lot of people and also affects my business, and that's the extremely high second-hand car prices that have been prevalent over the last year or so, but particularly over the last 6 months. Now, because of my job finding cars for people, mainly personal clients, in fact actually entirely personal clients since we started, this is something I'm very much aware of, and it's something that I've been asked about an awful lot, and so I have touched upon this in many different videos, but I don't think I've actually made a separate video about it. And so we're just on the way to do some shopping for my mother today, which actually I will come into the sort of relevance of what we're talking about in a little while, because her car's worth an awful lot more money than it used to be. Now, the reason why we've got such high second-hand car prices in this country, and they've gone up by 28% over the last year or so, is because we had very low second-hand car prices in this country for a really long time. There were certain models that after a year were worth about 50% of their new list price. That's becoming less and less common now. In fact, certain cars that I've seen, which aren't even particularly luxurious or expensive, are selling for over list price, or rather that's what the dealers want you to pay for them. An example of this was an MG ZS. It was a 2022 model, I believe. It wasn't the electric one, it was the standard, I think it was the 1.5 exclusive, which isn't a model I'd recommend. I'd recommend a 1 litre manual or auto, really, but nevertheless, just for these purposes, that car was advertised for, I think it was £2,000 above list price. And this is going on all over the place. The worst example of this in America is actually something that I saw on Donut Media the other week, as a channel I'm sure many of you will be familiar with, and they talked about the insane price gouging in America. And two examples that I remember of cars that we can relate to a bit better in this country. There are other examples of cars which, you know, we don't really, see many over here, like Ram pickup trucks, things like that. But one was a 2018 Fiesta ST. The list price of that in America in 2018 was about $20,000. That car had 13,000 miles on the clock, and in 2022 that car is being advertised at $29,000. Now, granted, they don't sell the Fiesta in America anymore, and the ST is a bit of a cult car, but nevertheless, it's crazy. Number one was a $29,000 Honda Civic Si. Now, this was a brand new model, so it wasn't second-hand or anything, but it was in stock as opposed to, just an order waiting to be built. And that car had a list price of $29,000, I said, or approximately that, and they were wanting, I think, like $45,000 for it, possibly even more. So there is this price gouging going on amongst certain dealerships. It's not all of them, of course. The list price is the one that the manufacturer would have you sell it at, whether price gouging and things is going on or not. And I think some dealerships are getting in trouble with certain manufacturers in America for this, but it's also going on to an extent over here, as I explained with the MG ZS example. So what is causing this sort of craziness? It's all to do with the knock-on effects of the pandemic, and the fact that in 2020 many manufacturers shut up shop for a while in terms of manufacturing new cars. I know Jaguar Land Rover certainly did in this country, and there are many other examples of this. Because cars have so many computer chips in them, particularly the electric cars, they actually had a knock-on effect to chip manufacturers who diverted production to smartphone and tablet chips, because they were the ones that people were using all the time, sitting at home watching Netflix and hopefully watching the Lloyd Vehicle Consulting YouTube channel and other things like that. Obviously, I'm sure other channels were more popular, but there we go. And so the chips that were put into cars were a very low priority because people simply didn't need to buy new cars. The sales of new cars in 2020, after the lockdown started on 23rd of March, were abysmal, as many of you know. So there just weren't as many chips needed, and they just didn't make as many. They made all the smartphones and tablets instead. However, once the manufacturers came up on stream, which would have been later in the year, maybe since September time, that was when many restrictions were being lifted. The manufacturers just couldn't get hold of the chips because they'd had the production diverted away from chips for cars to chips for smartphones and tablets. Add to that shortages of things like aluminium, cobalt and copper, which all go into making the wiring electrical components for cars, and it just created a problem which we've never quite recovered from. Certainly you've seen the top 10 best-selling cars of 2021, which you would have done by now. Ford is in a lot of trouble in that respect. It's had the Fiesta not just knocked off its top spot, it's had the Fiesta knocked out of the top 10 entirely, and Ford is behind Audi and Volkswagen for new car sales in this country for 2021. But what that means is that regular 3-year cycles of something like a lease company, they're being interrupted because the new cars that would normally come in to actually given out to the people who've just finished their lease and want a new one, they're being stopped. People have their leases extended by 6 months or more in some cases. Certainly my mother's finance agreement with her Mercedes, that was put back from June to September in terms of the end of it, because, well, there weren't new cars coming in for her to buy. I mean, we looked at some new ones, but there weren't really any decent prices considering what she paid for hers, which is about £27,500 in 2017. The car's only down 18,000 miles because she's got health issues at the moment. She can't drive it, like she wants to sell it. So the price of that car now, the list was 35,000, and because people can't get hold of these new cars, but second-hand cars are becoming more valuable. And my mother's car is worth somewhere in the region, I think, of £21,000, which is absolutely insane. Now, bear in mind, it is one owner. It's only done 18,000 miles. Nevertheless, for the Mercedes, which was 4.5 years old, that's extraordinary. Another example of this was when I went to look at some cars for a client last month, and I saw a 2015 on a 65 plate Toyota Auris Sports Tourer, the hybrid version of it. Now in about 2020, I think, that car for what was a 6-year-old car would have been maybe £11,000–12,000. It was actually advertised for £15,000, and in the end we didn't buy it. It had average mileage 50,000 miles, but because, you know, a lot of Uber drivers use those in jobs in London, that added even more value to the car. Another example of this was when I was looking at some cars for a client, and her original budget was £7,500 for a car. She increased it to 9 and still couldn't find exactly what she wanted, or rather I couldn't find what she wanted, despite having had a very thorough look with the sort of things that she was after. The problem is, if you are delaying these searches because cars are too expensive, it's still going on because price gouging is still going on because dealers can get away with it. Second-hand auction prices are really, really high as well because of the demand. So it's not entirely the fault of the dealers. They often, with the second-hand cars, I have to wait for someone to part exchange their cars, because people aren't part exchanging their cars because the prices of the new cars are so high, and so it pushes the price of the second-hand cars up, and that means the auction prices are higher. So don't blame the dealerships entirely for this practice, although some people are having a little bit of a laugh, I think, with some of the prices that they are trying to get away with for second-hand cars. We've had it very good in this country for a very long time in terms of how much second-hand cars cost, and maybe it's over for a while. It will come back, but because we've still got this shortage and the new cars are not being replaced in time for, say, the March 2022 plate, it's still going to go on for a while, I think. I don't know how long it's going to go on, but you know, if you don't need to buy a car at the moment, then perhaps don't buy one. I mean, obviously this affects my business because I've got clients for new cars, but that's just my general advice to somebody, because I don't necessarily think that we're going to see the lowering of prices anytime soon. Obviously people are still buying lots of cars. I've heard from Simon at Langley Prestige in Chelmsford, where I often do film some of the stock, but actually people are still buying cars. Sometimes you just need to buy one. Your car's got a problem and it's beyond economical repair, or you genuinely have a need for a larger or smaller car and you want to change. So there is still demand to buy cars. It's just that you know, prices are very high of what they are. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this video. Don't forget to like it, leave a comment below. I do apologise for this really bad service at the end here. And if you wish to join the channel and contribute monthly from just $1.99 to the cost of running things, then that would be much appreciated. Thank you ever so much indeed once again.